popularity owing to a surge in demand of cryptocurrencies and numerous ICOs, the issuance of new tokens in a legal gray zone. The technology was tested by pilot transactions in a corporate environment and survived attempts to hack blockchain networks, wallets, and token exchange platforms, as well as investigations in various jurisdictions. And it seeks to take its place within the diversity of technologies that can be used in corporate and global systems. I'm sorry, I'm going to drink. And the use of this technology makes it possible to move from transferring data about asset movement to transferring assets themselves using cryptography, as well as to adapt the modern infrastructure and focus on a technological part of the service. Market participants develop their own solutions based on the distributed ledger technology, play an active role in various consortiums, and launch pilot solutions on different blockchain platforms to find out what opportunities the blockchain technology can offer in practice. So, actually, the blockchain now is facing a number of problems, and here are the main problems of technology development. The first one is the platform solution security, because any technology used must ensure the highest level of protection of assets themselves and offer a mechanism to prevent unauthorized data access. And identification of network participants is also crucial for now. However, when launching trading platforms for cryptocurrencies and tokens, that experience was ignored. This led to thefts of more than 6.5% of the total amount of the first Bitcoin network currency directly from centralized platforms within the period from 2011, if I'm not mistaken, up to 2019. And trading platforms that have been launched with a certain level of decentralization do not currently demonstrate a large trading volume compared with centralized solution and account for less than 1% of the total trading volume, which may be due to their operational instability and high risks, as well as due to the problems with identification of participants in a fully distributed open network architecture. And the analysis of security breaches of systems that handle assets stored and issued directly on the blockchain shows that the vast majority of successful attacks actually happened not through cryptographic schemes, and they are aimed at gaining access to private keys for e-wallets and making quick withdrawals. That's it. So the second issue is the data privacy and confidentiality. And despite the evolution of basic and applied cryptography, there are still not many blockchain technology solutions available on the market that have the necessary set of features to provide anonymity to their users. Blockchain protocols do not really implement those functions. Last year, for example, Bitfury experts said they could reveal the identities of more than 16% of all owners of Bitcoin addresses. Can you imagine that? And a few years earlier, the CryptoLux development team conducted a study on the anonymity of transactions on the Bitcoin network, and they proved that up to 60% of addresses can be successfully de-anonymized. You see, in their work, they showed the ability to pin a Bitcoin account to IP addresses of users, even if they use Tor or some other similar programs to provide their anonymity. And the lack of anonymity when making payments can damage the business. When using fiat money, only the tax service and authorities can access the company's financial statements. In the blockchain, data is available to all users, including competitors and hackers, right? And that is becoming an obstacle to the development of global business processes based on blockchain protocols and platforms. So the third problem is interaction between multiple blockchain platforms. Perhaps the biggest problem in the industry is currently facing is how few markets can actually interact in any way with each other. So despite the fact that there are systems for connecting various blockchains with each other, and as well as currencies, tokens, and any other assets, there are still few of them, and they are located very far from each other, right? And collaboration in this industry is the most important condition for achieving the key goals of it. And otherwise, it will always remain a very limited field in this industry. The existing infrastructure also makes users primarily focus on the main markets, right? Diversification is critical in this industry, but it's most often it's ignored. An interaction between multiple blockchain platforms is a challenging task due to a number of reasons. Different consensus requirements, availability or unavailability of the option to use multi-signature of smart contracts in a certain systems. And the use of interaction mechanisms between multiple blockchain platforms in commercial solution is currently impossible due to the scalability constraints of the proposed solution and little experience and very small experience in applying those technologies. And the technology of atomic swaps may in the near future become the basis for the emergence of working solutions for interaction between different blockchains. So the fourth problem is the performance and scalability of the network, because the blockchain solution can only at most have two of the following three features: the decentralized architecture, scalability, and providing data confidentiality. And the first public blockchain platforms had significant performance constraints associated with substantial computing and computational costs determined by the use of the proof of work consensus, actually, and non-deterministic public network architecture. As a result, the waiting time for a transaction to be accepted and confirmed by the blockchain network could be as long as minutes, hours, or even days in case of any deviation from the normal network operation, right? And the transaction rate gradually increased from 7 transactions per second in Bitcoin and 14 transactions per second in Ethereum to more than 1,000 transactions per second in protocols that are based on the proof of stake consensus algorithm. I'm gonna tell you more about those algorithms to see why proof of stake is a little bit better. But to ensure the increasing activity and network participants, we actually need solution which combines different consensuses and universal consensus that can provide up to 10,000 transactions per second. So the fifth problem is actually tokenization of assets. It's reasonable to implement payment functions directly onto the blockchain in the form of real-time gross settlement system or apply any other settlement models. And the current model of risk allocation within the financial infrastructure and legislative restrictions prevent dealing in tokens by organizations without the banking license or native technical tokens, right? And force market participants who use these solutions to work in a limited number of jurisdictions. The lack of regulatory framework and the lack of many solutions of various kinds for asset tokenizations create a situation where this important aspect of technology development is in a limbo and doesn't have a clear development of implementation strategy. And to sum up the first part of my speech, I want to tell you that blockchain is definitely one of the most promising technology for now. But however, it remains an alternative way to work with data along with centralized or cloud solutions. The use of distributed ledger technology for implementing infrastructure solutions makes it possible to simplify processes as compared to the use of multiple centralized solutions, to improve the transparency of the financial market for the regulators, and to create an enabling environment for application of flexible settlement models directly onto the blockchain. So the second part of my speech is aimed to analyze the existing blockchain ecosystems, to analyze their pros and cons, and just like to see the trends. And I'm also gonna set some unsolved problems, and after that I will move to the next part, which will be actually aimed to the BTCU project. And how do we see the solution of those problems that are not solved yet? So currently, blockchain technologies are actively developing, and they are solving narrow tasks and or implementing large-scale technical solutions and building blockchain ecosystems on the basis of which products and platforms are actually implemented. So let's look at the most popular protocols that create ecosystems, their solutions, their disadvantages, and see how it looks like. So the first platform, the first ecosystem that I'm going to analyze is actually Waves. Everyone knows Waves, right? So Waves is the platform which allows users to issue custom tokens that are the equivalent of some assets like gold or something else, and carry out various operations with them. And also implement such areas as trading, exchanging fiat and cryptocurrencies, voting on the blockchain, and decentralized crowdfunding. As a part of crowdfunding campaigns of Waves, startups can issue custom tokens, the acquirers of which in turn get the opportunity to operate with them in the following ways, like buy, sell, transfer, or exchange, as I said. And Waves platform, the mining of the Waves platform is based on the least proof of stakes protocol consensus algorithm. This type of consensus allows you to create blocks in 10 seconds due to the limited number of nodes, about 100. And LPOS algorithm actually enables users to lease their balances to other sites in exchange for a portion of the profits. But this ecosystem also has its disadvantages, such as lack of anonymous transactions and actually not enough throughput to scale up so not enough scalability because of the low throughput, right? It's actually the main problem right now. And the second platform, the second ecosystem that I'm going to analyze is BitShares, which is also well known on the market. It is an open source public real-time trading platform, and it provides a decentralized exchange of cryptocurrency assets without the need to trust a centralized fund or any other third party. So BitShares is not only a platform, but it's also an exchange, a bank, a software, a cryptocurrency, accounting register, and network. So the idea of BitShares protocol is to create a tool with which it would be possible to trade various assets and currencies in a decentralized environment without depositing them onto the trading platform. By its nature, BitShares allows the creation of platforms for exchanging currencies, payment systems, then voting system, decentralized banks, insurance, and smart contracts. And at the moment, its main use is to offer a fully decentralized market. And the conventional proof of stake, like POS protocol, is driven by coin holders, which thereby create additional coins. And delegated proof of stake protocol algorithm is DPoS, eliminates proof of work by adding a new layer of management to the traditional proof of stake architecture. Users delegate their shares and allow you to select, witnesses who collect transactions, forms blocks, and transmit them directly to the network. And the work of witnesses is paid from the reserve pool. Based on the BitShares network, one vote is one BTS. So for most users, the voting process is button stones. So it was decided to vote by proxy. That helps to reduce apathy among users and allows shareholders to quickly respond to urgent business and security issues. With delegated witnesses, you get centralized management based on a temporary contract, which you have with which you have the right to withdraw at any time, thus preserving decentralization. But this ecosystem also has its disadvantages. And one of them can include the feature of providing assets, the price of which is tied to real assets or fiat money or any other assets. For example, the value of BitGold will always be equal to the price of gold. But since this asset is provided with BTS coins, if the cryptocurrency rate decreases, the collateral will not be enough to buy out the asset, right? And the second disadvantage is also the lack of anonymous transactions, which is also one of the main problems with the blockchain networks right now. And the third one is, of course, Ethereum. I could not forget about Ethereum, actually. So Ethereum is a whole platform for creating services based on blockchain. This platform is implemented as a decentralized virtual machine using the smart contract algorithm. Everyone knows that. And the platform itself checks the realities with your contract and transfers the money at a bank cell, as a bank cell tied to the contract. but everything is automated and decentralized. The solutions offered by Ethereum are very well suited for business and banking relationships, but there are also some disadvantages. But before that, I'm going to tell you that actually the main purpose of Ethereum is the platform and its own network, and not cryptocurrency, because the cryptocurrency initially is used just like inside the network. And actually, the creator of Ethereum, like Vitalik Buterin himself, just pointed out some disadvantages of his own network, and that is why he decided to go further, right? So the first one is also scalability, because the blockchain itself relies entirely on critical points where individual nodes must process each individual transaction in the entire network. And today, Ethereum processes about 500,000 transactions per day, and full capacity can process about 20 transactions per second. And the second one is also a consensus algorithm, basically. So it's a POW, proof of work algorithm, and it's, as Vitalik said, it's extremely expensive, and in addition, it's basically prone to 51% attacks. And the third one is also the lack of anonymous transactions. So actually, that's it about the analysis of the existing blockchain ecosystems and infrastructures. And now I'm going to move to our project, to the BTCU. We're gonna set some problems existing in the market, and we're gonna see how BTCU resolves those problems for now. And so what is really necessary for now for modern blockchain protocols and platforms for scaling and development in the future? The first one, as I already mentioned, is a high bandwidth, high throughput. And for the widespread use, cryptocurrency must have the high transaction throughput. Because, for example, Visa system has about 5K transactions per second. And if we consider cryptocurrency as a mean of payment or a complete system for decentralized applications, then we need to focus on the number of several thousand transactions per second, right? At the moment, the most famous cryptocurrencies, as you can see, have problems with scalability because of their low throughput. So the second one is the flexible approach and non-linear solutions, because this concept reminds of the original of scalable in distributed system, meaning that both for scale-out blockchain and the scalable distributed system greatly offer higher throughput as a network grows, right? And the fundamental difference between them is that scalability in distributed system requires a linear increase in system performance along with the number of servers, which are nodes, while non-linear solutions allow you to flexibly determine the block size and the technical requirements for each node depending on the current network load, which often grows progressively. The third one, as I mentioned like 1,000 times today, is anonymity. Because anonymous blockchain protocols are needed for those who value the privacy and confidentiality of financial transactions and their data. Because for business, it's needed to keep private and offer commercially important transaction information. And for individuals, it's just like for ensuring their privacy and confidentiality of their data, right? The fourth thing that I'm going to highlight is universal consensuses, because as I said, there are plenty of them, and consensus algorithms are critical for maintaining network integrity and security. They provide the state of distributed blocks, distributed nodes reaching consensus as to which version of the blockchain is valid. Consent to the current state of the blockchain is essential for the proper functioning of the digital economic system as a whole. And the most common algorithms, as I said, are POW and POS. Each of them has its own pros and cons when trying to balance security with functionality and scalability, right? And as I think, as our team is thinking, is only a combination of the most successful consensuses can give the best solution for the market in order to maintain decentralization and network security, and also will allow to scale the network, the blockchain, and the solution itself. The fifth one is the app creation solutions. In a new era of the informational economy, each user of the application is its shareholder, right? So the more popular the application and the more people download it, the more its value becomes. Sooner or later, users will want to buy and sell digital assets because they want it now, and their number is growing like rapidly. And the implementation of these mechanisms based on decentralized application will accelerate this process and reach a new level of product capitalization and give completely new financial models. So decentralized—
Natalie, please just go to final our conversation, because yes, our time is over already.
Okay, I got it. So, okay, I'm not gonna tell a lot about the problems. Okay, so the sixth one is the cross-protocol solutions. And okay, let me go directly to the BTCU. So BTCU, as I said, is a new fork of Bitcoin, which combines the best solutions in the market that I was talking like during all my speech. And let me highlight the main points that are really solving the problems that were highlighted by me in my speech previously. So BTCU blockchain implements smart contracts. It also has innovative mining algorithms. Actually, our team really opposes the classic energy-consuming POW mining, and Bitcoin Ultimate blockchain will be based on LPOS mining algorithm combined with POA, where LPOS will be used for mining and POA will be used for transaction validations. Here we are coming to the next point, which is limited number of validators. So the BTCU blockchain needs 20 validators. In order to prevent centralization and control over the network, 10 validators will be chosen by the team, and the second half will be determined by the community on the basis of POA. The fourth one is the high throughput, because using POA protocol for transaction validation will increase the throughput of the blockchain, and we will get a speed of 200 TPS in the beginning, and we will scale up to 10,000 TPS speed. And the fifth one is the main one. Actually, we will be able to implement private transaction because it's one of the most important and demanded elements of any blockchain network, as I said. And actually, in order for users of the BTCU blockchain to maintain their anonymity in transactions and privacy of their data, our development team has added the ability to carry out private transactions within the network. And okay, I'm sorry for running over, and I'm going to do sum up. And I want to say that it is necessary to build a solid blockchain infrastructure that can provide trust, privacy, speed, and scalability. And the BTCU blockchain is one of those infrastructures currently developing on the market. And our team now is looking for advisors, validators, and we're always open to get the community feedback on what we do. So feel free to contact me via email, which is cbdo@btcu.io. Our website is btcu.io. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for your attention. It was Natalie Simpson, CBDO of BTCU. Please, everyone, stay safe and take care of yourself. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Natalie. Yes, now we're going to the 50 minutes. Till another speaker, 50 minutes, we have to have a break. Natalie, thanks you a lot. See you again. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
bye.
bye-bye.